I had spent a few days in Austin visiting friends. I live in Louisiana, so it's an all-day drive. On my last day in Austin, my old friend Tom commented on my Instagram story, asking when I was leaving. When I told him it was today, he mentioned that he lived an hour outside of Austin, conveniently in the direction of home. I hadn't seen Tom in years, and it seemed like a great opportunity to catch up. When he invited me to stop by, I figured, why not? I set my GPS for Tom's address, and after about an hour and a half of driving, I arrived. His house had an old-fashioned charm to it, not run down, just aged. The wooden porch creaked under my steps, and when he opened the door, I caught the scent of old wood and something rustic, like a cabin deep in the woods. Tom greeted me with a big hug, his warmth making it feel like no time had passed since high school. Inside, his home matched the exterior. Everything looked as if it had been frozen in time since the 70s. The hardwood floors groaned under every step. It felt nostalgic in a way, almost comforting. We sat in the living room reminiscing over whiskey. Tom had always been a whiskey guy, always ordering a Jack and Coke at the bar. One drink turned into 2, then 3, and before I knew it, I was drunk. By now it was past 5 p.m. The whiskey had settled in, making the room feel smaller, cozier, but also heavier. The hours slipped by unnoticed, and eventually Tom asked a question I knew was coming. "Hey man, you got a long drive back. Why don't you crash here for the night?" He was right. I was in no shape to drive. I agreed, asking if I could take the couch. "Nah," he said, "I got a spare room. Nothing fancy, but better than the couch." That sounded good enough to me. We ordered Chinese food, ate, and kept talking until exhaustion caught up. Tom led me to the spare bedroom. I was too drunk to pay much attention to my surroundings, but I remember the air in the room felt still, like it hadn't been used in a long time. I barely made it onto the bed before passing out. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. My mouth was dry, my head spinning. The room was dark, except for a sliver of moonlight slipping through the blinds. That's when I saw it. In the far corner, near the closet door, something hung there. At first, it looked like a long black trench coat on a hook, but as my eyes adjusted, something about its shape felt wrong. It had broad upper shoulders, and the way it hung, it didn't look like fabric, it looked like a silhouette. My heart pounded. I didn't remember seeing that when I stumbled into bed, but I had been drunk. Maybe I just hadn't noticed. I squeezed my eyes shut, telling myself it was just a coat, but something in me didn't believe it. I rolled over, determined to ignore it. Sleep came in uneasy waves. A sound woke me again. A slow, soft creaking, like someone stepping carefully on old wooden floors. My eyes shot open. Dawn had started to creep through the blinds, bathing the room in dim gray light. The coat was gone. My stomach dropped. I sat up too fast, my head swimming with leftover alcohol and pure terror. I scanned the room. Nothing in the corner, just an empty closet door. Heart racing, I threw the covers off and stumbled down the hallway to Tom's room. He was snoring, oblivious. I shook him awake, panic spilling from my voice. "The coat! The one in the spare room! It's gone!" Tom rubbed his eyes. "What coat?" "The black trench coat on the closet door," I stammered. "It looked like a person almost." Tom sat up, looking more awake now. "Dude, I don't own a trench coat. I don't even have a coat rack in that room." I stared at him, waiting for him to say he was messing with me, but his expression stayed serious. "Come look," I urged. He sighed and followed me back to the spare room. I pointed to the corner. It was right there. Tom scratched his head. "Are you sure you weren't dreaming?" I shook my head. "I know what I saw." I woke up and it was there. Then I woke up again and it was gone. We stood in silence, the weight of unease pressing in on us. Finally, Tom exhaled and nodded. "Let's check the house, just in case." We searched every room, every closet, every corner. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No misplaced coats. Nothing that could explain what I had seen. Eventually, Tom tried to convince me that maybe I had been in some kind of half-dream state, that the whiskey had made me see things. I wanted to believe that. I really did. I didn't want to consider the alternative. As soon as the sun was fully up, I grabbed my things, said goodbye, and hit the road. Part of me felt guilty for leaving Tom alone after that. The whole drive back to Louisiana, my mind kept circling back to that moment, waking up to that coat-like figure watching me from the corner. The way it was just gone in the morning. Maybe Tom had played a cruel prank on me, but to this day, he's never admitted to anything. Or maybe, just maybe, someone had been in that house watching me sleep, and they decided to leave before morning came.